Hi, today I'm going to talk about identity. Um, I've worked in the foster care system for about 8 years, and one of the things that I've came across or observed is that children need to be able to identify with their parents, who their biological parents are. Some of them develop and born, they're genetically predisposed to do certain things and be a certain way, behaviors and things like that. And I can say this from experience that some of the kids that I've been involved with, they did and acted or said they behave similar to how their parents acted, even though they never knew their parents, or they weren't around them to learn those behaviors. But I knew the parents. Um, So I actually said that because I was doing a little research and I came across a music video by a young man named B. Howard, and he instantly reminded me of Michael Jackson, um, in his mannerisms, the way he spoke in particular, the way his voice sound identical to Michael Jackson, though he doesn't have the same power in his voice like Michael Jackson. His his music videos, similar, reminiscent of at least the dance floor video which I looked at, reminded me a lot like Thriller in the beginning, and Smooth Criminal, once they enter the warehouse. So, and of course the magical stuff that had, Michael Jackson used a lot of magic and fantasy in his music. His dance moves, although it's his own, his body language, the subtlety of his body movement was similar to Michael Jackson's, and his facial structure, his eyes, things like that, even his smile. So I didn't know who he was, so I did a little research. I figured it might be he might have been related to one of the brothers or something. Uh, and apparently there was a big controversy that he might be the child, Michael Jackson's son, biological son. There's also speculation that Joe Jackson could be the father because his mother, B. Howard's mother, Miki Howard, she's a musician that performed or was around the Jacksons before and even after the birth of B. Howard. And yeah, she's similar in age to Michael Jackson. So um, there's also another claim, but there's another claim, a man by the name of Orgy, who claims to be the father, even though he looks nothing, acts nothing. There's no comparison as far as face structure or anything, in or even frame to B. Howard. So before I jump to conclusion, I did a little research because I like to get the information direct. So I looked up some more and I came across the interviews that Miki Howard gave, and she doesn't claim Michael Jackson to be the father of her son, nor does she. But she doesn't. She never identifies who the father is. Um, but there's also a disclosure contract with the family, with the Jackson family, so she may not be able to say if it's either Joe Jackson or Michael Jackson, as fans tend to speculate. Um, but she know her son is trying to claim anything to as far as going after the estate of Michael Jackson. Man, they're doing their own thing. She's a great musician herself. He's an up and coming musician. He's done work with a lot of people in the industry. So I mean, he's doing well for himself, um, with his own thing. But my thing is that children need to have an identity, and despite the fact that the three kids that Michael Jackson identifies as his children, the white girl, what's her name, Paris, the white girl, and the two white boys, Blanket, and I don't know the other one's name. Um, they um, they are Michael Jackson's legal children, all right, and he identifies them as his biological children. He does not identify B. Howard as his son, nor does the mother identify B. Howard as Michael Jackson's son. So, despite what we think about that whole situation with the three kids that's his legal children that looks nothing like him or inherited none of the talent or anything or mannerisms, um, those are his children legally. And if B. Howard is his son, he inherited far greater than his estate. He inherited the talent um, uh, that Michael Jackson had, and it seems like he has the ambition and the looks of obviously and mannerisms. So he's using those things to build his career, so he can create his own legacy. It will not match Michael Jackson's legacy, but he can create his own. But my issue, as far as identity goes, it is my hope that he indeed knows who his real father is, and his mother was honest enough to let him know who his real father is. At least he'll be able to have a sense of identity and pride, um, even though he nor his mother can say anything about who his father really is, regardless if it's Orgy or some other guy that nobody knows about, or one of Jackson family members, um, because it will be a disservice to him to not know who his father is, his biological father, regardless if he has a relationship with them or not. So my tip, I guess, in all this, if you work in the foster care environment, it's easy for us to not want the kids to associate with their family. I don't know, due to influence, drug abuse, or whatever they're going through. But in reality, these children need to be able to know who their parents are, their biological parents, their family, because it gives them a sense of belonging. It gives them a foundation to build and move forward from, to either be like them or to grow in a different direction. And it's not our right to take that away from kids, because we'll be doing them a disservice rather than a service. Because as they get older, they'll need to be able to identify with their family as well. So hopefully this video shed some light a little bit on foster care, kids identifying with family, and I used B. Howard's situation to make that to try and as a vehicle to deliver this message. But I really don't want to get into the argument of who his father really is, because only two people really know that, the father and the mother, and nobody's talking. Okay, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and follow some of my other feeds.